Hi there, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Trina. This is Taking Note. If you are returning, thank you for coming back. Today I want to talk to you about journaling versus keeping a notebook. Not that it's a battle or a duel, but I just want to talk about some of the differences. So let's do it. There's so much going on in the world around us these days, is there not? And oftentimes people will ask me what they should journal about. They'll need writing prompts because they don't know what to write about. And I wonder if that is because people are often thinking of journaling when they put pen to paper in a notebook and not other types of writing. And so that is something that I wanted to talk to you about today. I think overall the majority of writing that I do in my notebook these days would not be considered journaling. It would be considered note-taking. And I think if I were to look at the span of my life, I've been keeping a notebook since I was a little girl, around 9 years old. I think I would say that the majority of the time I have been keeping a notebook and not journaling. Sometimes I've even been keeping a planner and not journaling. I think keeping a journal or keeping a diary, even a planner, I think doing that consistently for some people is very, very positive. They enjoy doing that and find it to be beneficial. That is not the case for me personally. When I am going through highly emotional times, I find journaling to be extremely helpful. But I think overall, my personality, instead of one that is reflective, is one that is observant and analytical. And so I get tremendous pleasure out of trying to understand the world around me. And I think in doing that, I have discovered things and learned things that have in turn helped me better understand myself and cope with some of the challenges that I've experienced in my life. I guess I would say it's not all about me, but I often find gazing outside of myself to be more informative than looking inside, if that makes sense. So my notebook, which I carry with me everywhere that I go, everywhere. And it is beside me from the moment I wake up in the morning until I go to sleep at night. And I'm pretty sure it stays put all while I'm sleeping and doesn't get up and run about. So it's by my side pretty much 24/7. And a lot of what happens inside of it is me taking note, literally. That is why I have called my newsletter Taking Note, and I've called this channel Taking Note. Literally what I'm doing is taking notes about the questions that I have, about information that I want to gather, about things that I don't understand, that I want to learn more about, and information that I discover, I may have said that already, And then in addition to that, like anything that's going on, whether it be with my kids or myself or my students, a doctor's appointment, a student-teacher conference, a book that I've read that I'm thinking maybe I might use in my class, even the writing assignments that I give as a teacher and the writing assignments that I take on as a professional writer and as a student in writing courses, all of this generates questions and curiosity and the need to look for information, and all of that ends up in here. It's not neat. It's somewhat organized. It's organized for me. I do have an index in here, and that is new-ish. I go back and forth when it comes to putting an index in my notebook. Sometimes I have one and sometimes I don't. And right now I do have an index. I can't really put my finger on it though. I'm trying. Here it is. So I do have an index that is identical to the index from commonplace books of the 1800s. And so I actually think it's a pretty neat system, and I don't see any reason to try to reinvent it or make it modern or make it new, because it works. So if I have information that I think I might want to find again, I will put that in the index. A lot of things I can find because I know the period of time that I was studying something, and I always date things. I might not date every page, but I will have dates within the notebook, like here that says 1/12/23. And so when I go to archive it, I will note in the cover what the time span is of the notebook, and so I can pull it out of storage at any time and know what's inside of it. But yeah, so they do have an index, and I do number the pages. And so I just wanted to share that with you, that I don't think that everyone has to journal. I think that the most exciting thing for me about my notebook, and I think the most exciting thing that other people would find about my notebooks, is the variety of information that they contain, and that it is not all about Trina. It is about Trina in the world in 2023, the questions that I have, the struggles that we as a collective are going through, how, a variety of different things are impacting humanity. Not having something to write about is something I cannot imagine. We have all sorts of things going on in our world, that some of which I find to be maddening, some of which I find to be distressing, some of which I find to be confusing. When it comes to my own personal life, I have so much to be grateful for, and we are blessed in so many ways. But oftentimes when I think about the world around us, I find myself wondering, how did we get here, and what are we going to do next? And so, after something happens like the recent school shooting, or some of the political dumpster fires that are going on, or the debate with the women's basketball players and a hand gesture that had been made, these are the kinds of things that I am drawn to. So I have a more journalistic tendency than necessarily a constant reflective energy. And so I just wanted to put that out there because I think that I don't hear that talked about so much, that kind of notebook or this kind of notebook keeping. You hear a lot about planners, you hear a lot about journals, even like poetry and quotations and things like that, but you don't hear a lot about notebooks that are really about taking notes on life. And so that's what this is. And I don't know what one would call it. That's why I just call it keeping a notebook. And when I think of Joan Didion, who wrote the essay on keeping a notebook, she was a journalist and an American author. I think that my notebooks, I like to think anyway, that my notebooks are more like hers, more like the notebooks that she kept, or like, they are certainly more like a reporter's notebook than a diary or a collection of morning pages. And so, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, that I think there's a difference, or we can at least acknowledge a difference between journaling and keeping a notebook. And for people like myself who are curious, always seeking knowledge, always trying to pursue, expand on one's understanding of the world, this type of note-taking might actually be up your alley, and then you would never, ever have to worry about what you were going to write about, because the amount of just pure and utter foolishness that goes on in the world leaves you with infinite possibilities. Anyway, I hope you found this little desk side chat to be helpful or interesting. I would appreciate it if you click like. I would love it if you left comments or even asked questions. I love interacting with my listeners, viewers, readers, audience. And then it would be great if you would subscribe, but only if you want to. Don't subscribe if you don't want to. No pressure. Anyway, have a wonderful evening if you are watching this as it's posted, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.